Hey Brandon, thank you so much for joining the We Don't Play podcast show. How are you today?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me on today.
You're most welcome. Anytime, anytime. I know we're going to be discussing a lot about SEO and social media marketing, especially when it comes to Google Ads, especially with your audience. So, before we even go and get started, please let us know who you are, what you do, and it would be great for us to start it off from there.
Yeah, my name is Brenden Leibowitz. I've been involved with digital marketing since 2007, helping people get more traffic to their websites using SEO, social media, paid ads, email marketing, kind of do it all, but really focus more on the SEO side of things, just because it's a way to tap into that free traffic and 5% money on ads when you can get up there for free. So been doing that ever since 2007, working at different advertising agencies and always working on the side, building up my own business, doing the freelance work, and built it up to enough where I was able to quit my job a few years ago and focus solely on this. And they've just been focused on the free traffic over the past 15 years.
Wow, that's heavy. I would really love for you to kind of like give us a way back machine, right? Just tell us a little bit about how SEO was in 2007 and then fast track it to 2017 and then tell us what's happening in this recent 5 years that has happened. So it would be good to hear that from you too.
I mean, SEO has pretty much stayed the same for the most part. It's just Google's changed their algorithm to stop spam. So that's really the main thing, is they're just trying to pick off low quality sites that are gaming the system and tricking Google by having like duplicate content or having low quality backlinks and things like that. But overall, the strategy remains the same for the most part, except for like mobile. That in like 2011, where Google had the Hummingbird update and said, all right, I'll focus on the semantic web. I'll make sure that we're ready for the mobile, or speed, where they realize speed is very important, especially for mobile, kind of shifting back towards mobile. But other than that, it's just kind of make sure you have good quality content, good keywords in the right places, not spamming Google or your website, not spamming keywords all over it, and making sure you build good quality backlinks. Those are really kind of the main things. And over the years, it hasn't changed too much, except for people that have found loopholes and ways to spam. And but Google's like, no, we don't want you to game the system. We want you to work to get these rankings.
Exactly, exactly. And I think one of the major things that I would definitely highlight is back then, back in the day, it was more so of like black hat SEO styles, where like you said, people were just gaming the system and trying to just rank and put keyword stuffing in there just because Google didn't really know any better at the time. But now it's more so like a white hat SEO, where it's pretty much based on fair play and how we can be able to connect those dots. So when you see those practices, especially for someone that has seen everything from the way it started and the way it is now, what are the major things that you can actually take away and let our audience know about how SEO really works? Because when you hear SEO, it's so daunting. Like when someone hears it, they're like, SEO, I don't want to be there. So how do you simplify it for someone who has no clue about SEO but really needs this SEO to boost their business?
Well, it just depends on what type of business you are, but the most important thing is really like adding good content to your website. So you can tell people, instead of trying to go in and change the coding and do all this technical stuff, you just add more text to your page. The more content you have on every single page, the easier it is for the search engines to read and understand that page and understand what keywords you're focusing on. So instead of trying to get all technical or worrying about like speed or all these technical things, just focus on user experience. Make sure it's a good user experience, has good quality content, and that's going to really help out without getting too technical with the SEO.
Okay. One thing that struck out to me the most that you mentioned right now is good quality SEO, good quality content. And when I hear good quality content, what are the features that at least administer that type of good quality content?
Just making sure it's original content, not like copying content from one page to another, because that's something that Google will penalize you for, and you don't want Google to penalize you. So that's really the most important thing, is making sure it's original content, making sure you write for the user, not for the search engines. Don't just put keywords to put keywords in there. Write for people, don't write for Google, because Google's able to pick up on synonyms, plurals. They can even pick up with keywords that aren't even there. Just understand the semantic web and intent behind what type of content you're putting out there, but just make sure you put out good quality content. And usually the content length just depends on your competitors. On average, most people say put about 400 words of text per page, but that's not how it should be. You need to put more text than your competitors. So what I would do is go into Google, search for your keywords, see who's on that first page of Google, open up all those websites, not the ads, but the organic, the free listings, skip over the ads, open them all up and see how much text everyone has on their website. And you can kind of average it out. If everyone has 100 words, maybe you only need 150 words. If everyone has 2,000 words, you probably should put 2,100 words. So you guys find the competitors, because SEO, we're not trying to be Google. It'd be nice if we could, but Google changes every single day. So there's no way we're going to be Google's algorithm. But we could see what your competitors are doing and do a better job of SEO than they've done. Because that's really what it all comes down to, is who's on that first page of Google, how much SEO have they done, and how can we do a better job of it. And by finding your competitors, the content, you see all that stuff there. Also, you can search in Google. And when you search in Google for your keywords, there's this section called People Also Ask. They're all high search volume phrases, questions that people ask frequently to Google. So if you take those questions and copy them, put them on your website, and then answer them in your own voice, that will also potentially get you in that People Also Ask, get you in the featured snippet, but also you could put FAQ schema and mark it up. There's all these things that you can do with that, which really helps out enhancing that content. But those are just a few things. Also, like the title, really important, making sure you put keywords in that title, making sure you interlink the pages together. So when you're writing content, you want to link to other blog posts or other pages, services, products on your website, so people don't just read the content, get to the end and wonder what to do. There's also the search engines read that content and look for internal links to follow as a kind of a roadmap for them.
Now, what you said is so important, because when I hear about internal linking, especially, because there's something else I wanted to come to your attention on, but I want to stick on internal linking for a little bit. Now, if somebody wants to read an article, you know how people just read at the top of the page and then scroll all the way to the bottom, and then they scroll right back up, just like when someone buys a book, they check the title, they turn it over, they read the synopsis, the summary, and then they turn it back and start reading. It's kind of like the same thing when I think about a web page. It's like a book page. So if someone wants to click on those internal links, like you mentioned, and that's very right of what you said, right for the user, right for the human, right for the person that's needing this information, would you put related content in between the copy, or would you put the related internal links at the bottom of that article, and why?
You just gotta make it look natural, whatever flows best. So don't just put internal links to put internal links. I mean, you want to maybe put a couple, and if you can't figure out where to put them at the very bottom, but try to make it flow, make it natural, you don't want to just put a bunch of links at the bottom. That might look a little spammy to Google. But if you put it internally in the content, maybe in the first paragraph there's one link, in the 10th paragraph there's another link somewhere else, so it's not just a bunch of links all at once. That would look probably a little bit more natural to Google.
So is there a set number to put, like if you have one article, should you say 3-4 links and then maybe 2 at the bottom, or vice versa?
Not really. It's whatever it's in. I would just get right for people. If you try to just squeeze in links, that's more of like the old way to do it, black hat style, but it does help out to put those internal links. But I would just try to make it, not put too many, but put enough where it seems relevant, maybe 1 or 2 for every 400 words, or 1 for every 400 words, but that's just throwing the numbers out there.
Yeah, thank you so much for that. I appreciate that, because it helps people to have at least some type of blueprint to work with, because SEO is so big. When you hear technical on page, off page, they get lost and they don't want to do the work. They don't want to actually commit to that work because they don't know what to expect. So you also mentioned something like the People Also Ask section. Now, when I think about duplicate content, is this something that we should do? Let's say the question is, what is digital marketing? And then that's under People Also Ask. Should the person that's writing about that type of article get that exact phrase, or should they paraphrase it in their own way, and then Google is going to translate it in their own way? How does that work for the user?
I would just copy it verbatim because that's a phrase Google's telling you right there. This is what people also ask. So take that phrase or that question and then answer it in your own words. But there's always going to be duplicate content. If you're selling blue jeans, you can't really write a unique product description all the time for blue jeans. So, or there's like footers, copyright stuff. So
Right.
terms of service, there's always duplicate content all over the internet. As long as the majority of your content is not duplicate, that's fine. But it's okay to have some because it's natural. There's no way not to have duplicate content in the human language. Whatever language you're speaking, English or whatever language you're in, there's always going to be some duplication of it. There's no way to avoid that.
Exactly. I like that you said blue jeans because my next question was going to come to the images. When you think about image SEO, some people leave the alt text blank. Some people don't even rename their file names with the target keywords hyphenated. So those are things that people look into, but they don't really pay attention to either. So if we're talking about blue jeans, like let's be in context now, and you see somebody wearing blue jeans or trying to wear blue jeans or how to wear jeans or where to find jeans. Now, those images, how important is SEO with those images when it comes to ranking and SERP results?
Well, if you want to optimize your images, you got to optimize file name before you upload it to your website, and then add in the alt tag. So when you upload it to whatever platform you're on, it's usually going to say title, description, alt text, or alternative text, and that's where you want to describe what that image is about. Don't put keywords in there in the file name or in the alt text. Just describe what that image is about. If it's a bunch of people smiling, just put happy people .jpeg or PNG or whatever it is. Don't put happy people SEO company. That would be really spammy. But eventually you're going to have pictures of your product or service, and that's going to have your keywords in it, but don't just put keywords to put keywords. That's an old way to do it and not the best strategy. It's a lot better just to be descriptive, describe what that image is about in a few words. That's the main thing.
Now, with alt text or alt tags or alternative tags or alternative text, when I think about the descriptive, like the way you said, be descriptive, some people can be descriptive and literally give you 2 paragraphs. So what is the limit and why is that the limit?
Just a couple words. You don't want to have it too much. You want to just describe that image as just quickly, short, descriptive. You don't need to be writing paragraphs because search engines just need to know what that image is about. If you're trying to write all that paragraph or content around it, you should put that content on the page, not on the image. That's going to help out a lot more. Google wants that text.
Exactly. I think that's a big thing too. And also the in-text graphic too plays a big role into it. Because when someone is reading something on the internet, they want to be visually impacted. They want to feel connected to what they're reading, even though it's in yellow or in black. It really gives someone some type of perspective to work with. So when you think about the content pages, right, how many images are enough, and I would say satisfactory for the search engines and also for the users to feel connected to the content, so they don't feel like they're being overwhelmed with content or images for that matter?
It depends. If you're an e-commerce website, you probably want more images. If you're selling a product or or service, you might not want as many products. So it just depends, or images. So it just depends on what your website is. It really depends. It's not really a one size fits all, or this website should be like this website should be like this. It just depends on who your audience is, what you're promoting, and how to make it stand out in a way that converts them and resonates with them and keeps them engaged and interested.
Yeah, I believe so too. And one thing that it comes to engagement, which is I'm so happy that you mentioned that, is social media, because social media is a top ranking factor for SEO, when it comes to ranking on Google search or ranking just within the algorithm. Now, when you think about social media, what are the things to think about when applying SEO? Because people that use social media don't think about SEO necessarily. And of course, social media is not SEO apart from like Pinterest, YouTube, and the likes, because those are search engines. But things like Facebook, platforms like Twitter, like TikTok or Instagram, how does someone think about SEO when they're using social media for their business or even personal, just for ranking purposes?
If they're trying to use social media just to help market themselves, and they need to just figure out who their audience is and what platforms they're on, because you got to think about who your audience is. Where are they going to be? Are they going to be on Google searching for you? Are they going to be on Yelp, TripAdvisor, or are they going to be on Instagram looking for you? Like if you're a dentist, probably not going to get much traction off Facebook or Instagram or Twitter. I mean, you might get some people, but most people are probably going to go on Google to find you. But you're sounding like if you're like a sports team or something newsworthy, then social media is going to be really great, or a musician, stuff like that works really, really well on social. But you just got to know who your audience is and where they are. Usually social media is a good way to put a face behind the company and build trust up, to let people know you are really who you say you are, that you're a real business, that you're trustworthy, that people could shop with you, put money, purchase off you, they can read reviews, see testimonials, things like that. But in general, it just depends on who your audience is. Are they on social, or are they going to be on another platform? Because you really need to be where your audience is. That's number one. You don't need to be everywhere. You just need to be where you're at.
I like that. You need to be where they are at, because social media is busy and there's so many things that you can do on social media. But when you think about search engine optimization, you really think about the way it ranks. So when I'm thinking about what you just said, one of the things that I did a quick study on this, and I would love to hear your opinion on this. When you search for a business name on Google and you get those 7 to 10 SERP results. Now, if let's say you get your website, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, does that really mean that the order at which Google has given that listing is dependent on the way you can rank better? For instance, if I focus more on Facebook, then I'll focus more I'll focus more on Facebook than LinkedIn. Does that mean that my content on my website will gain more traffic because of the domain authority on LinkedIn as opposed to Facebook, or vice versa? How do you play that out? Because when people look at those results, they don't know which one to start with. They're like, I'm confused. So if someone looks at that just plain sight, how can they help that process?
Google's always going to rank social media. So whenever you search for your company name, your company or your website should show up number one. And then there's always going to be social media like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Pinterest, LinkedIn. One of those, or a few of those, will rank at the top of Google. But it just depends on how much SEO has been done to those pages. And those are going to rank higher than another one. It doesn't mean it's going to be better for your audience. It just means those pages have more trust. Maybe you had a Twitter page and someone backlinked to it. So that Twitter profile page got a backlink, and that's going to rank higher. You might only have 5 followers on that Twitter. You might have 20,000 on Facebook, but because that Twitter got that backlink, it's going to help rank it higher in Google. So it just depends on how much SEO has been done to those specific pages. So if you want one to rank higher, then you need to build backlinks to that page.
Now, when someone hears backlinks, could you just tell us a little bit more? Because I'm really thinking about the audience. I know we both are SEO, we go in, we're experts, but I'm thinking about that person who has no clue. So when they hear a backlink, what is that, and how can they acquire that to their website?
Backlink is a clickable link from another website that points to yours. So if you're reading an article on the New York Times and it says Branden Leibowitz, and you click on it and it goes to my website, I'd be getting a backlink from the New York Times. So the more websites that have clickable links that point to your website, the higher up you're going to rank. And that is the most important part of SEO. Without backlinks, it's pretty much impossible to rank on Google. You're not going to be able to rank. Google's whole algorithm started based off backlinks. Still heavily based off backlinks to this day. It's changed a lot how they look at them, but it's still primarily based off backlinks. And there's a lot of different ways to get backlinks. The best way is just find your competitors and look at their backlinks using different tools like Moz or SEMrush or Ahrefs, and you can find your competitors' backlinks.
Now, those backlinks, let's say, like you said, reach out to them. Is this a generic email to just say, hey, I saw your post about digital marketing trends and I have an article on this. Can you backlink to me? Is it as simple as that, or is there some more technical stuff you got to do to get that acquisition in?
Well, you just got to figure out what your competitors are doing. If they joined the BBB, you join the BBB. You join the Chamber of Commerce, you join the Chamber of Commerce. If they're on Yelp, you go on Yelp. If they're had an article on Forbes, you can reach out to that author on Forbes. But every website's going to be different that they got a backlink from. You just got to figure out how they got it, what strategy were they utilizing, and how could you acquire it. And that's where you just got to get creative.
I see that. That makes a lot of sense. Now, I'm thinking about, Google Ads as well. When we think about Google Ads, I don't click the first 3 links on Google Ads or the first 3 listings, and I'm sure some people don't. Some do, depending on if they want to click on it, but most people don't. So my question would be, is Google Ads important or are Google ads important because people won't click on them anyways? So how important are Google ads for businesses?
Google Ads work because SEO takes about 6 months. So if you're waiting 6 months, you might want some traction, and Google Ads work. Not everyone clicks on the ads, but people do click on the ads. And it's not only just search text ads. You can run banner ads, you can run email, you can run YouTube ads, you can do discovery ads. So a lot of other ads you can run on there, not just the text ads. A lot of people do skip over the text ads, but people still click on them all the time because Google is making a fortune. I see when I worked at ad agencies, they were spending like $20 million a month on search ads, and they were a medium-sized advertiser to Google. Kind of crazy.
Wow. So that just hit me really hard when you said if they spend $20 million a month on that number one result. Do you think their cost acquisition per lead is going to give them that return on investment? Because I know you said 6 months may take a while for someone to rank on Google, but if within that first month, do you think they can get as much back, or does Google point out that information to the most people based on the highest bidder?
No, there's a lot of parts with the Google algorithm for paid ads.
Okay.
But it just depends on your return on your investment. If you're selling a product for $10,000, then it's all good. You don't mind spending that money, especially when you know people are going to refer it to friends and family, and that $10,000 a year is going to just translate to more and more people. The company was a pretty big company. They're selling a high ticket item, but it works.
Now, when I think about Google ads or ads in general, just when it comes to SEO ranking, especially on the Google SERP, when I think about ranking factors, and like you said, if I have a product that's $10,000, how much would I need to spend? Let's actually scale it down because I don't want it to be too overwhelming. Let's say someone has a $97 product and they just want to get more eyeballs to their product. They may have a course, they may have a membership, and they just want to spend X amount of dollars to get those number of leads, or maybe those number of conversions. How many times does someone have to invest into that kind of product for them to receive those type of results, as opposed to just 6 months out?
Yeah, usually it's like 1% conversion rate on average. So that's where you just got to factor in out of every 100 visitors, maybe one might become a lead or a sale client, and you just got to figure out that return on investment. How much does it cost to get those 100 visitors, and how much does it cost to get that sale, and what's the lifetime value of that customer? Is it going to pay off or not? If it doesn't pay off, cut it off. But if it's working, there's more money into it.
I see. So if somebody spends $97 on a $97 product, do they get that type of stretch as opposed to spending, let's say, $900 on the same product? Do they have to scale up too much, or do they have to balance the equilibrium?
What do you mean? I'm sorry.
In the sense of, I have a $97 product and my marketing budget is, let's say, $1,000 a month, for example, and then my competitor has the same $97 product, but probably different from mine, of course, and they have, let's say, $10,000 a month for ads. Now, will Google favor the $10,000 ad bidder over the $1,000 ad bidder, or is that going to depend on what the user engagement and the user experience is? I'm just trying to see what works and what's best for both.
Well, Google looks at the ad rank, quality score, the click-through rate, the landing page, making sure it has keywords in it, the ad, make sure it has in the ad, has the keywords in the text, making sure, then they look at the bid, that you're bidding. If say you want to spend $5 per click and they want to spend $4.94 per click, they're going to go with yours because you're spending $5 per click. But they're also going to look at the ad rank, and if your ad rank is lower, then they're going to go with another person because they want to get conversions and leads. But it depends on your budget too. If you only have a $50 budget and all that money gets exhausted in the first hour, Google's not going to show you the rest of the day. So it just depends on what your budget is, how you day part it, how you segment it all out, what your bid is, what your ad rank is, your quality score, and all the other variables that go into the algorithm for the paid search.
Nice. Thank you for that clarification, because it makes a lot of sense when people get connected to things that they're looking for directly. And usually, like when you have like a, let's say, 5-click process, and the person that you're competing against has maybe a 1-click away process or 2-click away process, it's much better for conversion. Like you said, it's 1%. So I believe that 1% is based on how many clicks they have to get through to that end of the bottom of the funnel. Is that correct?
The 1% is just kind of the industry average. Well, just averaging it out, 1 to 3%.
Okay.
The more the better. But yeah, it's just kind of averaging it all out.
Nice. And with the clicks, right? How many clicks do they have to think of? Because I'm thinking about the reason why I'm asking these questions is because I want someone to really have a clear picture of what they need to do as far as strategy, so they don't just spend money on ads just haphazardly. So if they have a website and that website is taking them to that product page or to that conversion page, what's the best way for them to do it so that they don't feel like I'm actually sending this person on 3 different click journeys instead of one?
Well, the best would really sit down with me and let me look at it because it's tough. It's not really a one size fits all.
Yeah.
Every website's going to be different. Every landing page is going to be different. The keywords, the audiences, the bids, the pricing, the cost per click, all that stuff really goes into it. So you have to just say, this is going to work. This isn't going to work. We have to really dive into it.
Yeah, I believe so too. And it really based on testing. Like you just said it, A/B testing is very important as well for people to really understand where they're getting this information from and how they're taking it, where they're taking it to. So my thing would be for someone who's listening to this and they're listening to you as well, what is the key takeaway for someone who really wants to get into SEO? Not as a manager, not as a specialist. They just want to do it for themselves. They want to feel like at least I have everything connected and at least I've done the bare minimum. What would that be?
Yeah, with SEO, the most important thing is the content and the backlinks. Having good quality content on every single page on your website and having backlinks to support that and build that trust up. Those two things alone will get them more rankings for themselves.
Amazing, amazing. This has been so helpful. I think we've really jumped on each other's and it's really good to see how we've jumped on each other's content planner and see how exactly this works, because it's going to, like you said, it's not a one size fits all strategy. It's really depending on whether you're product or service based, and that really helps you to know exactly what to do next. So I really appreciate you for coming onto this podcast, the We Don't Play podcast, to show and just tell us more, because the more of you we need in this world is going to make the world a better place for us to be in.
Well, thanks for having me on today. And if anyone wants to get in touch with me, I create a special gift for them. They go to my website, SEOoptimizers.com. That's SEOoptimizers.com/gift. They can find a special gift there along with all my contact information. And I do a bunch of other free classes that I give out on that website as well. So if they want to take more classes, all for free, they can learn more about all aspects of digital marketing.
Amazing, amazing. Thank you so much. That is also going to be available in the show notes. So if you were actually looking for this link and you just heard it for the first time, please make sure you click on this link in the description so you can be able to get in touch with Brenden, and he can give you all the tips and needs that you need to just hack your website and do it the right way with the white hat SEO strategy. So this has been so helpful. I really appreciate you, Brenden, for coming, and I look forward to connecting with you soon.
Thanks for having me on.
You're welcome. Anytime.